Hello and welcome back to the Choujigen game Neptunia animation vlogs. Episode 6. Before I get started, remember this is a review, not the episode. Probably figured that out already. And indeed, I am the man behind the mask. So, episode 6. What's been going on in this episode, right? Yes, I know that the video was like almost a week late. Alright, you don't have to tell me that. I know. Alright? People, seriously? I know that I haven't made a video in forever, but I've been, buying things like cheap PS3 USB controllers that don't even have a home button, but an analog button. So it's not even a DualShock 3. It's a DualShock 2 with a USB cord. Alright, I've been getting that. What else have I been getting? HDMI cord to plug into computer screen so I can finally play games in HD. And what else have I been getting? Chopsticks. And last but not least, 2 Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Both costed 1 cent. Brand new. But you're not here for me to tell you the stuff that I'm buying on Amazon. No, you're here for me to talk to you about the Neptunia the animation episode 6. I do not remember the name for the episode. Alright, so what's been going on in this episode, alright? Basically, in this episode, we have a hacker hacks in to the last station security network through the power of Louis satellite. You know, the satellite that they've been building up in Louis. They hack into the satellite and then use it to spy on Noir's bedroom, where she's been practicing cosplay and, creating cosplay outfits, basically. So, what's been going on is this guy. I thought at first that it was CFW Brave, but it wasn't. It's probably a character from Neptunia Victory, but I wouldn't know that because I haven't. I wouldn't know that because I haven't started Victory yet because I'm still in Mark II. I'm right at the boss fight against CFW Trick, the final boss fight. I think it's the final boss fight against CFW Trick. I forgot. I didn't need to take someone hostage or something. Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since I've played it. So I've mostly been playing free PlayStation Plus games because I've renewed my Plus membership. Back to the episode. So we got him to deal with. This new guy. Seriously, why do all the dudes in this franchise look like? Why are all the dudes giant robots? Why can't a dude be a simple human? There's one human dude, I think, in the whole franchise, and it's this bald businessman dude. All the other dudes that are in the series are either not shown on screen or are just black silhouettes like in the first game. In the show, there haven't been any dudes yet to speak of whatsoever outside of CFW Trick. Trick, he's pretty much the only one. You got this new guy, I don't know his name, and the episode begins with you being introduced to Pishi, I believe it's pronounced. You're introduced to Pishi in this episode, who's staying at the planet Neptune Basilicom, and she's raising a havoc, and Neptune is playing on a game system at the start of the episode, which is in the shape of a D-pad, you know, like the D-pad hairpins that she wears. It's a game system in the shape of a D-pad, which is really weird. And that's been going on. She wants to play with Nepna, but, you know, Neptune's busy playing the games, you don't have time to play. So what she does is, she unplugs the D-pad system. I'm going to call it the D-pad system since I don't know what the name is. It looks like Neptune's in the middle of an RPG from the 2 seconds we got of the game she was playing. Alright, so Pishi unplugs the system, but she doesn't traditionally unplug it. When she unplugs it, she completely rips the cord in half. And then jumps into Neptune. And they go into like a freeze frame where you hear like fighting game sounds like, you know, like from Street Fighter 2, it's like, you've got those sound effects playing. So that happens, and then, you know, everyone's summoned to, I thought it was Louis at first, but no, it's the station. Everyone's summoned there to have a meeting because Blanc is gathering all the CPUs together, and that's where they learn about the hacking and stuff. But first, Noir reaches there first, because her and Blonde are the two initial ones. Well, of course she reaches it. It's her Basilicom. Whatever. But Blonde and Noir are there at first, and they're talking. And Noir says that the likely chance of Last Station being hacked is about as likely as someone falling out of the sky and landing on her. 2 seconds later, there's Neptune flying from the sky, falling right onto her. I gotta admit, I didn't expect them to do that joke. It was an obvious joke, but I didn't expect them to do it, and that made it even funnier. We're getting back to the funny episode. It's less action episode and more back to comedy episode. Because I was laughing in this episode quite a lot, actually. So, we had that going on. Meanwhile, the others show up, they all show up and everything, and they start talking. But we see, apparently, Lily points, you know, it's basically relationship points from Mark II. I don't know if Victory had any, but Mark II is like, sort of like how in Mass Effect you have these relationships and stuff, and sort of like certain RPGs, like in Persona, you have the social links. I guess that's a more apt analogy. Like in Persona, you have the social links that you have. In Neptunia Mark II, again, I don't know if the third game has it, but in Mark II, you have this social link-like thing where it's called Lily Rank, which builds your character's relationship with each other, and builds, like, the likelihood of them doing things for you in battle, the things that you can craft in the crafting store on the world map, stuff like that. And how well they work together when you put them together as a team, as a double team. It's pretty much like that. So that goes on. So apparently Lily Rank is an actual thing in the hyperdimension, apparently, where Netgear is getting Netgear is getting some points in her Lily Rank with the way that she's hanging out with Vert. And during all that, Neptune's just busy staring there. He's like, Nepgear is my little sister, not yours. Stop trying to steal my little sister from me. And then that's when they all head to the meeting that Noir and Blanc was having with each other. And Neptune got there first on account of being launched in the air by Pishi, all the way from the planet Neptune Basilicom, all the way over to the Station Basilicom, skyflying. Skyflying seems to be a real theme in this episode, given that it happens 3 times in the episode. You know, a Team Rocket's blasting off again thing, except for instead of blasting away, the blasting down, implying, what happens after Team Rocket blasts away. I'll stop talking about Team Rocket. Alright, back to the episode. They go and start hacking, find the place, but then, Uni is getting, thoughts like, what is going on in Noir's room? Like, she keeps hearing these noises all the time, coming from the room. Like, these noises emanating from the room. It's like, what's going on? She doesn't usually lock the door. If it's work-related, Noir's not going to be locking the door, keeping everyone out. So she's trying to figure out what's going on in the room. So they set up a camera. The CPU candidates set up a camera in the room, like on top of a bookshelf, but the camera starts getting some interference, and they're getting, different camera angles from where they set the camera up, so they're trying to track down, the candidates are trying to track down where this other signal's coming from. They finally find it in this warehouse, this old abandoned warehouse, which just so happened to be the exact same place that the CPUs are heading to. They fly in, they go in, get ready. They got their information of where it was happening from this chick that shows up. I'm like, what? Who's that? Who's that? And then immediately Neptune's like, an original character! Like, the characters themselves had to admit this was an original character for the anime, built specifically for the anime. And it's like, don't worry, I'm just a one-scene character. I'm only going to appear in this scene. Which is kind of funny. The character only appears in that one scene and outright admits that she will only appear in that one scene. So they go and find the dude that's been, hacking into security websites and the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. And he shows all the cosplaying that Noir was doing to the other CPUs. Noir gets pissed, rightfully so, and gets ready to lay a smackdown on the guy. But she forgot that screens are enemies when it comes to this franchise. So the dude's, 2,000 floating computer screens all dash forward and attack the group. Meanwhile, Peachy runs into the abandoned warehouse after this squirrel, rabbit, dog thing, bunny. Squirrel, bunny, rabbit, dog thing. She goes in after that, and that's how the CPU candidates end up running in, because Uni is pissed. She wants to figure out who has been pissing off her sister. She wants to know, so she's going in. She's pissed off. They go after Peachy, who's going after the squirrel thing, and while the screens are attacking the CPUs, the dude's running away at high speed with a suitcase full of Noir pictures in it. He gets stopped by the CPU candidates when the rabbit squirrel, the bunny squirrel thing jumps around him, and Peachy, in an attempt to get it back, lunges forward, headbutting into the guy. Again, they play the Street Fighter sound effect. I was expecting Game Over to appear on the screen. Like, seriously. Peachy wins. Flawless victory. I was expecting that to appear on the screen. Might as well. It's a series based around game references, so you might as well have done it. And he goes down. They find out all the pictures, and Uni gets pissed because she figures out that he's the one that's been hacking and, observing her sister. So she attacks him. Then Noir busts down the door behind him, so he's surrounded with a pissed off candidate in front of him and a pissed off CPU behind him. He got nowhere to run, so he just gave up. They arrested him. The game industry police arrested him. And then while they all gather back on the balcony of the Basilicom, someone else starts flying from the air. I'm like, wait, what's going on now? Is Neptune falling from the sky again? Close enough, because Plutia comes falling from the sky. And like, I guess they've completely finished the Mark II storyline in this anime, because we're getting right into Victory. You got Peachy in this episode, who is a Victory-only character so far in the series. And you got Plutia, who's the CPU of Neptune in the Ultra Dimension. I may not have played Victory yet, but I know a bit about the story already. She's the CPU of Neptune in the Ultra Dimension. The setting of the Neptunia series, of course, takes place in the Hyper Dimension, except for Victory, which takes place in the Ultra Dimension. So that goes on, and she's like, I am the CPU of Neptune, and then everybody has a delay to hearing that. Like, they start staring a bit, then like it pops in their head what she just said, and like, what? And Neptune's right there in the forefront, like, what? The episode ends. The after credit scene is a redo of the scene where Neptune falls from the sky and lands on Noir. But the joke this time is that she completely misses and plows through the floor into the room below, which is the funny bit. So that was this episode. Getting back to the funny and less of the action, which is fine. The series is predicated on being funny. So yeah, I know that I was like a week late with making this review, but shut up. I'm reviewing this next.